Ladies and gentlemen, live from the top of the food chain, Brooklyn, New York, a new day has arrived in cable TV. Strap yourselves in for a fun ride. It's the Cyclone Variety Show. Now here's your host, Cyclone!
Thank you, Chucky. And welcome to another great episode, at least I hope it's going to be a great episode, of the Cyclone Variety Show. I am your host, Cyclone. And, look, let's face facts. Normally, right now, I'd be making all of you laugh. Why? Because I'm a funny guy. It's what I do. I make people laugh, amongst other things. Here's the deal, though. I can't do that this month because recently suffered tragedy in my life. My father passed away, so I am going to, let's just say, talk about him for my opening monologue. My father was born September 3rd, September 6th, I should know that, September 6th, 1935. To be quite honest, I'm still a little bit shaken up about this, but I'm going to try to get through it today. As he got older, time sort of beat him down, sort of like what's happened to Al Bundy, sort of. But the fact of the matter is, because of my father, I like comedy. Because of my father, I know how to fish. Because of my father, I know how to do a lot of things. And the older man that he turned into, I'm not going to hide from it. We fought physically, we fought mentally, we fought emotionally. We couldn't be in the same room for more than 2 minutes. But I don't want to remember that man. What I choose to remember is the young man that tried to teach a much slimmer Cyclone how to swim, to no avail. The one that took me to the first aid office when I got stung by a bee and cried like a baby. The one that took me to the hospital when I was at the Gateway batting cages off Flatbush Avenue past Kings Plaza. And what they used to do back in the old days is they'd have 2 slow cages, a couple of medium, and a couple of fast. But in the corner, they had something called the Nolan Ryan Super Fast cage. Nothing went slower than 100 miles an hour in that cage. It was 100, 101, 102. I dig into the batter's box, step up to the plate, and I'd say the second pitch, I think it was, high and tight, drilled me in my hand, to which I still have a scar on my hand, tore a hole in my Franklin batting glove. My father got me out of there, took me to the ER. That's the man that I choose to remember. I remember a blizzard that we had, geez, I think it was like the blizzard of 84 or 85, possibly even 83. And my mother said to my father, "Marvin, leave your car the way it is." Does my father listen to my mother? No. Just like most men, they don't listen to their wives. So what happens? My father digs out his car, a 1967 black Dodge Dart, which, by the way, I now like Dodge because of him. And the next morning when he came outside, the car was gone. Sure enough, someone stole the car. We found it, well, the 69th precinct found it about 2 weeks later, and my mother gave it to my father again about not listening. But that's the type of man I want to remember. The one I want to remember is the one that I miss. The one that I miss, and the one whose watch, this way, see, watch. His watch is what I now wear. So, Dad, this show I'm dedicating to you. I'm hoping for no problems. But starting it all off is someone that I guarantee you will bring no problems to this show, because she is a fantastic singer. Why? Because I say so, and you will agree with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Victoria Levy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This song's called Lucky, and on guitar with me I have Becky Brindle Scala. You say you missed your train, and your boss is being a pain. Well, you tripped on ice, you broke your toe, you never met the girl who said hello. Well, baby, you just ain't that lucky. You say that call was your mom, but your answer didn't seem to come. And the scratch marks that are on your back came from a dog that tried to attack. Well, baby, you just ain't that lucky. No, 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 no. No. Uh-uh. No, 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 no. 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 No, no, no. No. No, 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 no. You did come home last night. You bought me flowers, though we were in a fight. And the lipstick on your collar that you say is blood. I see those bones you're burying, though they're covered in mud. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, baby, you just ain't that lucky. Well, I said, baby, you just ain't that lucky. Well, I said, baby, you just ain't that lucky. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Was I right or was I right? See, I'm always right. Anyways, you guys will play another one later?
Oh, definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so being that talking about things that are helpful and meaning to me, I had some issues recently, and the man who's credited, as far as I'm concerned, with saving my life and doing God's work is Dr. E, Chief Vascular Surgeon of Maimonides. Dr. E, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. My condolences.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
My father passed almost 2 years ago, and I know what you're going through.
They say it gets easy, and you know, my head is still spinning about it. But at what age did you decide that you wanted to become a surgeon?
You know, it started pretty early, but it was solidified when I was in college. I was a philosophy and biology major, and I realized that I was fascinated by the human body and the mind and soul, and only thing I can really do anything about is the human body. So I went into medicine and decided that surgery is the most interesting out of the medical field for me, because it actually was very gratifying to correct problems. We never really cure anything, but we try to help the patients live the rest of their lives without the symptoms of disease.
Well, I could tell you straight up, I haven't had any throbbing, and I'm going to jump to this, and I'll go back a little bit later. But what exactly with the vein stripping, because that's what I had, what exactly was the throbbing feeling that I was getting?
Basically, the problem that you had was that the veins were not functioning well.
Right.
The way the veins were meant to function, and it was backing up like a plumbing system or a sewage system. It was just backing up, causing swelling and discomfort. And what we did was remove the pressure from that and decrease the pressure and the pain that you had.
I'm sorry, but like I told you, I find it mind-boggling that the human body can actually function without something that, like you hear, like someone has the appendix out, the spleen out, anything like that, and or a kidney, and still go on, no problem. Those are organs, okay, but veins are like meant to be there. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me that the body can just still keep functioning without any problems from that.
Yeah, that's one of the most amazing things about the human body is that the human body has built into it all kinds of backup systems. So if one vein system or an artery system doesn't function well, another system takes over. So there's a whole series of backup systems within the body, which is amazing, from the veins to even the lungs. That's why you have two lungs, you have two kidneys. Right. You always have an out if there's a problem with one part of your body.
Sometimes I wish I had two crews, you know that, because sometimes this crew just doesn't work for me. So what led you specifically to go into vascular? Out of anything in the body, what was it about vascular? It's interesting to me, and I'm schmuck.
Well, you know, it began with the fact that I was very much interested in the way the body worked and how it functioned. And, you know, I was kind of greedy. I wanted to be part of the healing process of the whole body. So right. The vascular surgeon is involved with really the blood vessels throughout the entire body, whether it's the neck arteries supplying the blood flow to the brain, the leg arteries supplying blood flow to the calves and your walking abilities, etc., or whether it's the main artery, which is the aorta, which can cause death if not treated in a timely fashion if the blood vessel becomes diseased.
Wow. Now, I'm not exactly the healthiest cat around, as you guys can tell by looking at me. So I've seen my share of doctors, and some are good, some are bad. And this could just be a personal question, but out of curiosity, how do you, let's focus more on you, how do you credit, or what do you credit for giving such an incredible bedside manner? Because I'll pat you on the back on this one. I've seen 1,000 doctors, and a fair share of them aren't as good as you. So there has to be something somewhere along the line where one picks up a bedside manner that's better than the next.
Well, I think, you know, bedside manners is really not a taught trait, but your perspective as a physician. A lot of physicians see a disease as a problem, like an equation to solve.
Right.
The way I see my patients is that they're patients, they're human beings like you and I, and you have a problem that is associated with you being a human. And you know, the first thing you have to notice and treat is the person and not the actual disease. So you know, it goes a long ways to connect with the patient, to, you know, talk about their family, you know, to actually see what that person is about before you kind of dive in and go after the problem at hand.
Now, before you came to Brooklyn, you were at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center.
Correct.
What drew you to go from there to here?
Several factors. I actually grew up in the New York City area. I went to through high school in Manhattan, and my family lived on Staten Island. And you know, I was always thinking that I thought that I would be in Pittsburgh for 5 years, and it was a great experience for me. It was a great time to develop my career, but I always knew that I would come back to New York. My wife is from Brooklyn, and you know, this whole area is home to me. And you know, there was a lot of factors. One of the factors being that my father was ill at that time, and I really wanted to be closer to him as well. But you know, I'm very happy to be back here and love the city.
Now, being at University of Pittsburgh Medical Center and now here in Brooklyn, both places have strong ties with sports organizations.
Yes.
There with the Penguins and the Steelers, and here with the Nets and, I guess, knock wood, the Islanders next year. Is there any, would you say there's ever any difference between dealing with a pro athlete? Because I know with a regular layman person, there isn't the press level to deal with. There isn't, I guess you could say, pressures of a sports organization. Would you say that there's pressure from sports teams?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely pressure. I mean, actually, I'm the official vascular surgeon of the Brooklyn Nets. So luckily, I haven't gotten called for anything major, and I hope the basketball players never need my services. But you know, there's clearly different pressures when you take care of athletes, and I've taken care of several baseball pitchers in the past, pro baseball pitchers, because they get a problem with their veins when they start, you know, overutilizing their shoulder region. But you know, the big difference is that these people are a little bit more famous, maybe a little bit more wealthy, but they're still the same person. When you talk to them, they're still the same type of inner human being that everybody else is. So I treat them no differently. They don't really react that differently either.
Right. Now, you've authored a lot of papers. Is there one that you would say that you're most proud of that you've done?
Well, I have authored several papers, and I would say, you know, some of the more recent work that I did looking at aneurysms and the development of aneurysms is something that I'm very proud of, and we're still in the growing stages. You know, vascular surgery is a dynamic field, so what it was 5 years ago is totally different than what it is now, and it will be totally different what it is 5 years from now. So the technology is changing. It's quite exciting to, you know, keep up with that technology, and it's wonderful to be able to bring that latest technology to Brooklyn.
Now, it's funny how you mentioned baseball pitching, because I remember that David Cohn, when he was pitching for, I think the Yankees it was, where he had to stop because he had an aneurysm in his arm.
Right.
So, and you contribute to endovascular today.
Right.
So, between that and the aneurysms situation, what can you only imagine would be the technology in the future? Because only on live TV. That didn't happen. Only in the future, what can you even imagine it would be like?
Well, ultimately in the future, as technology as well as research advances, I mean, as a surgeon and as a specialist that, you know, provides relief using interventions, ultimately the holy grail of medicine would be to prevent all of these disease processes. So if a baseball pitcher can maybe, you know, take a medicine to prevent these aneurysms and problems from happening to begin with, would be really the ultimate goal of medicine. And that would put me out of a job, but that would really be the ideal way to correct disease, would be to prevent it before it happens.
I know that there's always a disagreement between the idea of pharmaceutical companies have, you know, wanting the money and not wanting cures for problems. Would something like that even stop them?
No, I think that the public has a misconception about pharmaceutical companies and device manufacturers. What they want to do is to develop technology that will obviously make them money, but also they're going for cures. They want to, you know, it's really not a very mercenary approach when you look at the research and development aspects of many of these companies, because they really do want to help patients. And majority of the medical research right now that's meaningful to you and I, to the normal patient, is being done by the pharmaceutical industry as well as the device manufacturers. So it's not really done at the university level, a lot of the technology behind, at least in vascular surgery.
Now, I also suffered from something called weeping, and thank God I haven't had anything like that since. As a matter of fact, the swelling, I can say honestly, the swelling's gone down, but there's still a little discoloration, and I think that's a permanent situation with me now, the discoloration. But what exactly is weeping? Because it's something that I've never really understood.
That's again, going back to your original problem, was that the veins, which are supposed to, arteries bring the blood out to the leg or any other part of the body. The veins bring it up, bring it back to the heart, and your veins were not functioning well, and we treated a portion of that of the malfunctioning system, but it's not 100% corrected. So your body is still seeing the effects of the backup that's occurring within the venous system, but eventually the body will correct, and hopefully with some continued exercise and therapy, you'll get much better.
Now, being a surgeon, you're basically saving lives. Bottom lining it, calling it what it is, you're saving lives. Is there something, do you look at it as just gratification, or is it just, hey, it's just part of the job and it happens, it happens?
Well, there's two components to it. So, the first component, it's wonderful to, have a patient that comes into the emergency room bleeding to death, and you save that person's life, and you feel fantastic. You thank God that you're able to do something like that. On the other hand, a patient comes in and you're unable to save that patient's life, and the patient dies, and you feel horrible. So, you got to take the good with the bad. Obviously, it's very rewarding and gratifying to save someone's life, but it's also very traumatic to lose somebody, especially in a big operation that in an elective situation where you tell a patient, I'll try to do my best, you give them the percentages, and then you still can't get the patient through the operation. That's pretty disparaging. I mean, but you have to sort of numb yourself to that to a certain degree, and also numb yourself to the other end, the elation that you get when you save a life, because you sort of have to mute it a little bit in order to continue on a daily basis.
So there's like no high fives going on?
There is. Don't get me wrong. There is. I feel great when when we save somebody, everybody's very happy about it. But it's not because we know that there's going to be the next patient that shows up who's going to need a similar procedure who may not do as well.
What would you say is the most crowning moment of your career? Besides me, I mean, saving me, I mean, what tops that?
I mean, probably the most crowning moment in my career was, right before I left Pittsburgh, I became full professor of surgery, and it took a rigorous process, and it really was satisfying that I was recognized for the research that I did, and it was very gratifying, and that was sort of a segment of my life that I left behind. But I look forward to bringing some of that part of my life to Brooklyn, and this is what I've done, and I really am excited about this portion. I've been here for about 2.5 years now, and it's absolutely wonderful.
Now, I've done my research because, let's be honest, I'm also diabetic. Now, diabetics have an exponential list of problems as well. Is it that diabetics tend to have vascular problems, or is it all people who have vascular problems are diabetic?
That's a great question. Generally, diabetes predisposes you to a higher incidence of vascular disease. So not all vascular patients are diabetics, but many diabetic patients have vascular disease because of the, it's a complex situation, but it's a combination of your immune system, the blood glucose levels and everything, which damages the blood vessels. And there's no question that diabetic patients, people have a much higher incidence of vascular problems.
On a side note, I gotta tell you, I had an accident a while back, and because I'm diabetic, they instantly wanted to do my blood sugar when I got there. And I gotta say this, I'm not really proud, but the number is what the number is. 688. And the doctors looked at me cross-eyed and said, "How the hell are you alive?" They're like, "You should be dead." You guys didn't hear that either. Now, going in with the diabetic people that have all the problems, brushing teeth can kind of solve the problem of cavities. Not continuing to eat crap can stop you from being diabetic. Is there something that a person can do that can help with possible future vascular problems?
That's a really, really good question. And, there's a lot of things that can cause vascular disease. A lot of it is related to the environment, but some of it is related to your genetics. So, if your father had vascular disease and your great-grandfather had vascular disease, you're kind of screwed. You have bad genes, and you're going to get, you are more prone to get vascular disease, regardless of you could be running marathons, you could still have vascular disease. I'm not saying that you will, but, so there's that component, but the environmental component is not easily, but can be corrected. Smoking. If you're a smoker and a vast majority of our vascular patients that we treat either smokes currently or have smoked in the past. And smoking, there's thousands of ingredients inside a cigarette puff that can injure the blood vessel. Tight control of diabetes, that also decreases the vascular disease. Weight loss, controlling your lipids, the cholesterol levels, those are all very important components of preventing PAD and further progression of vascular problems.
Spoken like a true doctor. I mean, I guess it's the Dr. Hamburg, I don't know. But that being said, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank you for saving me. I don't know if they're too pleased with it. I know the people in the control room right now aren't too happy with it. But I am very thankful. And I thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot. All right. Well, I want to laugh. You guys want to laugh? Good, because I'm not that funny anymore. That will bring me to a very funny lady. Yeah, she's funny. Kind of funny, I don't know. I've wanted to work with her for a long time, and finally we get the chance to work together.
Yep.
Miss Amory Castillo.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. I know you're all looking at me, and you notice I'm wearing flats. And you're like, how tall is she? I'm 5'12". Yes, no, I know. Okay. Most good. Yeah, 5'12". 5'12". I've appreciated my height as I got older. But when it comes to dating, it's been a little tough. And all you short girls come up to me, you're like, I wish I was taller. I wish I would. No, you don't. And first of all, men, you say you like all women, but you want to lock it down with the short girl. I know it. And this is why I'm going to palm it out right now. And you know you don't want to lock it down with that. Speaking of palming, I used to play women's basketball, shockingly. It was awesome. I played for 16 years, and when I was being recruited for college, they were like, "Do you like women?" I said no. They're like, "Get out." So I had to pick a different profession, and so and it's weird because a lot of the girls I grew up playing with, they all decided that they liked women, and I thought women were bad at sports, guys. That's not the case. Just there's a bunch of bad defense, and no wonder we can't handle any balls. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Now I'm 28 years old, living in New York City. Woo! Yeah, we all love New York City. I feel like I'm getting older, and I can tell by my Facebook news feed. I didn't know I was friend with 1,000 babies now. It's pretty creepy. I'm like, when did I get 1,000 baby friends? Also, my hangovers last for a week. I don't know if any of you else you feel that way. Seriously, I walked in and saw my friends this morning. They're like, "Oh, did you go out last night?" I was like, "Yeah, last Tuesday was rough." It's pretty awesome. I also feel creepy going into Forever 21 these days. Feel like a pedophile. Can't fit into size 16-year-old anymore. But you know, I'm living the dream in New York City, killing it with Cyclone over here. And I'm recently single. All right, great guys, thank you for the support. I'm recently single, and all my girls think I'm one day away from Taylor Swift's song, so they think I should get on these dating websites. Are we familiar with Tinder? Tinder is interesting. For all you people that don't know, we basically have set our standards for swiping left or right, hoping to find true love. So all my girlfriends are pissed that no guys ever call them back. And I'm just like, let's go out and meet these guys, right? And I thought it'd be interesting if we brought swiping into real life. Go to a bar, see a guy, see one you like. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Since New York is so affordable, I have a couple day jobs. I bartend. We all love a good bartender, right? Except these days you don't need to make cocktails. You just need to learn how to plug in a cell phone charger. It's pretty awesome. Love the bartending job. But my favorite day job I ever had was being a nanny. Yes, loved it. It's like free birth control. And I love kids. I love kids so much. Love them so much. And except I realized after a while, I thought they'd be like pets, you know, like when you have a puppy and you go to the park. You're going to bring all the guys in. It's like, maybe that'll be the same fact with cute little kids. No. You think they're wingmen, they're cock blocks. I thought I could find a solution to this and wear a shirt that says, "They're not mine." But that never worked out. No, I love kids. I come from a big family. I recently watched this movie, Frozen. Yeah, not that great of a film. It won an Oscar, I think, and I don't know why. I thought it was my abandonment father issues that ruined me my whole life. It was actually Disney. And I'm sorry if you're a fan of Frozen, guys, but this girl's looking for acceptance from her sister. Should be in love with the prince, picks the guy who has commitment issues, in love with his animal, and has no money. And his theme song is Fixer Upper. I think we need to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. No, literally. And I was raised in the 90s, killing it in the 90s. And I thought about all the Disney movies in the 90s. Got Aladdin, cheater, thief, liar, the Beast, abusive, controlling. Let's get rid of Disney, guys. Let's just get rid of it. Awesome. I'm also a diehard sports fan. I love New York. I'm not really a New York fan, though. Don't really like a lot of New York teams, but I'm kind of broke, so I was thinking about liking the Jets and the Mets. Those tickets are basically free now these days, right? And then what I'm going to leave you with is the only thing I'm else giving up on is Chase Bank. Went to Chase Bank, originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Still hold my Albuquerque, New Mexico driver's license. Gave them my $12 bar and restaurant check. With my New Mexico ID, the bank teller goes, "Ma'am, we only accept U.S. driver's license." And I go, "Good, because New Mexico is a state. I know I work at a bar and restaurant, but I'm not Mexican." Thank you. Cyclone.
Finally,
after all these years.
Yeah. You couldn't just say year. You had to say
Months,
years.
weeks,
Thanks.
days, hours.
So, right off the bat, let me ask you something really hard.
Okay.
Would you say you find it harder to be booked as a woman or as, well, I'm not going to say like as a woman or not a woman,
Okay.
but
Man or woman.
as a woman or more like because you're not the quote unquote the typical, blonde, big boobs,
Hey, now. Victoria's
I
Secret's
mean,
not working today.
I mean, they're
I'm
nice
kidding.
and all.
I'm
They're,
kidding.
they're nice, and we'll talk after the show, Miss Singleness.
Singleness.
So we'll definitely talk later after the show, but
Yes. Single.
maybe we could both, change that. But which do you find it more hard?
To get booked for comedy gigs?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think this is so hard because girl power, but I just think at the end of the day, men will be favored. But I do also it's all who you know at the end of the day.
And on this show, she proves she knows me, and, well, it's not worth a pitch of warm spit in the ocean. Now, here's something interesting. We both know somebody.
Correct.
Big time.
Big time.
I'm not going to mention his name.
Okay.
Has there ever been the offer to work with him?
Yes. I did work with them previously on the. Well, I can't say.
Sure.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I can talk.
Yeah.
About it. I don't know if you ever saw it, but on Howard TV, I was on Ronnie the limo driver's TV show. I would MC some of their shows,
Uh-huh.
and the one person that we love would headline.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I was. He's the best.
He is. He's a great guy. So, best way to contact you?
Best way to contact me.
Because you have so many.
I think the 8 versions of Facebook and social media and Twitter and Instagram and all these wonderful social media websites. My Facebook name is Amarie Castillo. Facebook is the best way to reach me, and I'm also launching my website today. It's www.amariecomedy.com.
Cool. So, you in the mood to dance, Miss Single? We could dance
We
together.
can dance and go to my bar
Yes.
and go to my. It's happy hour.
I'm not really that happy though. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Miss Victoria Levy.
Thank you. This song is called Too Fat to Be a Model. And this will go out to your dad.
Thank you.
I'm too fat to be a model. I'm too young to be undesirable. I'm too loud to stay quiet. Shh. I'm too mellow to cause a riot. But what do I need to do to get through to you? I will be whatever you want me to be. I'm too smart for my own good, and I'd ignore you if I only could. You're too cute to obtain. I'm too weak for all this pain, but what do I need to do to get through to you? I will be whatever you want me to be. Oh, I'll be Marilyn Monroe, or a bitch, or a hoe, or Madonna and like a virgin. We'll play doctor, I'm your surgeon, or Uma in Pulp Fiction, Martha Stewart in the kitchen. I'll be Britney Spears, or Paris Hilton drinking beer, or a Hollywood star in a sporty new car. Whatever it is you want, I'll be as good as you are. I'm too aggressive for missionary, it's true. I'm too clean to keep my legs hairy. I'm too shy to grab you by the balls. I'm too lazy to answer your calls. But what do I need to do to get through to you? I will be whatever you want me to be. Oh, what do I need to do to get through to you? I will be whatever you want me to be. Thank you.
Hello.
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 Thank you both for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, let me put it to you like this. Can you zoom in? Zoom in. Nee, here we go.
Vanna White it here.
Yes.
The grand prize.
Yes, that's perfectly clear. Thank you. By the way, my father was too fat. A little bit fatter than me, but thanks.
I'm sorry.
So let me ask you right off the bat. Okay. What inspires you to write what you write?
Well, usually it's things that are going on in my life, and a lot of times I'll take hurt and pain and make fun of it. And it's my way of kind of coping with things, and it just turns into music.
You know, Anne-Marie talked about it. You know, that's something that Taylor Swift does. And she recently said that she's taking a boycation. Taylor, I'm a man. Call me. Your people call my people. I have no people. I'm here. So who do you listen? Who's on your iPad besides yourself?
Besides myself. I like a lot of different bands. I listen to the Zombies a lot. I listen to a lot of 60s music. I like the band Cracker. I love Johnny Cash, is one of my favorites of all time. And I have my music, it doesn't even go together. It sounds like it's from somebody who has multiple personality disorder. It's like all my songs are completely different from the next that are on my iPod.
Let's give your cousin some props.
Becky Brindle.
Hello. Hi, guys.
So, hello. Out of curiosity, because you've worked with some mega stars. Yeah. Is there one that you could say really gets to you, where it's, I don't know, where it's more meaningful to work with that person?
I'd say I have to do that in two categories. One, dead, and the other one alive. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yank Rochelle, who was my blues mentor. I'm a blues player, singer. I don't know if it hadn't been for Yank, who was born a year before Robert Johnson, I don't think I would be playing blues, or I wouldn't know how to play real blues. The other one, I'd have to say, living, would be Jerry Lee Lewis, because, really, the killer. I just remember the first time getting on stage with him, and I was on stage, and there he is, and I've got to play, and I'm like, just for a split second, I was just, I just, went, wait a minute, I'm where? And then I went, oh wait, play your guitar. Don't think.
I mean, listen, I'm about to get that feeling in a couple of minutes introducing our headliner today. I mean, I can't believe I'm finally with him. But what's coming up next for you guys?
Well, we have a show coming up on October 22nd at LIC Bar, and you'll get to see us with a full band behind us, including Vito, who was in Johnny Winter's band, right?
He was his drummer for 17 years.
It's at 8 o'clock on the 22nd of October.
Maybe if management here at Brick would get me a bigger studio, I can have a full band too.
Well, when you do, we'd love to come back again and play.
I'd love to have you
Absolutely,
guys.
Absolutely.
Once again, get this. Which camera? Which camera?
And VictoriaRocks.com, ROCKS.
And she does.
And BeckyBrindle.com.
And she's one of my
Absolutely.
favorite people, so
You're my favorite. I love you.
we're cousins.
And I'm nobody's favorite.
You're our favorite.
You're our favorite too.
You're Taylor Swift's favorite.
I wish.
She called.
Never know.
Well, that being said, I would like to now introduce you to our headliner. He is somebody who I have much, much respect for because he has helped make me the man that I am today. He straightened out a young, screwed up in the head Cyclone and helped create this disaster you see before you. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the great Mr. Joseph Romby Jr. Joe, take it away.
Thank you, Cyclone. How's everybody? All right? You're all good? Nice to be here. Here we are. But I'll tell you something. I almost didn't make it here tonight. Long line at the liquor store. Last show I did was in Staten Island. And after that show I did in Staten Island, I'm afraid to go back to Staten Island. And I lived there. I went over about as well as a strip of bacon bookmark and a copy of the Koran. So maybe you noticed I'm a shaved head comic. I didn't shave my head on purpose. I just got a little carried away trying to even out my sideburns. I decided to grow my hair back. It decided not to. So now I have an image I'm stuck with. Finally, after all these years, I have an image. Nazi doctor. I grew up in a family that was strictly Irish Catholic, which was fine. Except I'm half Italian. But my mother can't stand Italians. I said, but Ma, Daddy's Italian. She said, don't talk that way about your father. So, my father thinks I'm gay. All because I was in musical theater in college. And he says, look, son, I still love you, but don't tell me you're not a homosexual. I saw you up on that stage singing and twirling around. I'm like, Dad, first of all, that was 35 years ago. Second of all, I've been married twice and I have a son. He said, yeah, well, you could have avoided all of that if you would just admit the truth. My little boy is turning 9 and his vocabulary is really growing. He's gone from saying to me, Daddy, you're not cool, to using the compound word, Daddy, you're uncool. And you're ugly and stupid also. And I'm not sure what it means, Dad, but Papa thinks you're gay. I'm like, that's okay. When he gets a little bit better at math, he'll be able to figure out his mother and I only got married 5 months before he was born. I'm not trying to imply I got my wife pregnant out of wedlock. She was married at the time. Even though I'm from Staten Island, my wife is from England. 2.5 centuries of American independence, and I volunteered to toil under the yoke of British tyranny. But she had that accent, so soft and seductive, I couldn't resist. First time I called her for a date, she said, let me check my schedule. It was such a turn-on. Right up to the first time she called me a bloody twit! Then on our second date, it was okay when it was just the two of us. Now we got a little boy. I'm afraid he's going to wind up in speech therapy because he calls it the home depot. And, you know, I don't know if you know British women, but they can be pretty cold customers sometimes. Sometimes when I'm making love to my wife, it's with all the heat and passion of someone switching out a printer cartridge. Takes about as long. Well, you know, we're always in a hurry. Work, school, getting the kid to school. Sometimes I feel like I'm having sex with a card table. Because it's like, open the legs and flip her over. One thing, when you have a wife who has a British accent, she doesn't tell me what I can't do. She tells me what I can't do. She's like, you can't fold a shirt. You can't load a dishwasher. You can't earn a decent living. I was like, keep talking, sweetheart, because I'm getting ready to call you something that sounds an awful lot like can't. So I became reacquainted with my first wife, my ex-wife, through Facebook. So now she only hates me as a friend. I'm in my mid to late 40s. I'm 55. And I realized I was drinking too much beer when the homeless guy who picks up my recycling bought the building next door. My dentist told me if I didn't stop drinking whiskey, it was going to cause discoloration of my teeth. I said, no, it's not. Then our neighbor told me my smile looked like a banana. So I went to the liquor cabinet and I poured the whiskey down the drain, and I wrote in my calendar book for the next day, no more whiskey, exclamation point. But then when I looked at my calendar book the next day, I said, no more whiskey. I got to go to the store and get some more whiskey. I used to smoke cigarettes. I gave those up a long time ago, and I feel very lucky because I still smoke in my sleep. Not real cigarettes, dream cigarettes. I know they're dream cigarettes because they're $1.60 a pack. I tried gambling. I had no luck. I went to play the horses. I said to the guy at the ticket window, boy, those jockeys sure are small. He said to me, jockeys? What jockeys? This is a merry-go-round. So I had a sore throat, and I bought a pack of Ricola. You know Ricola, the Norwegian cough drop? And the Ricola company must be doing very well in America because they actually shape the Ricola like a throat lozenge now. Because the way I remember Ricola was like a honey and lemon flavored Lego block. Caused more pain than it alleviated. For the first 10 minutes, you're like, this thing is killing me. And then it's like, my sore throat is gone. But the roof of my mouth is bleeding. And hanging down in shreds like the ceiling of my 1989 Buick Regal. And I can't staple it back into place. Yeah. So, how come whole wheat bread and white bread come in a bag with a twist tie you can reseal, but rye bread still comes in the same cellophane wrapper it came in 90 years ago? I always feel sorry for that top slice of rye bread because it's just the lid, you know? Look, I got bigger problems than rye bread, folks. I bought a house about 6 years ago. About 5 years ago, the market tanked. My house is what they now call underwater. I feel like I'm doing a real estate seminar all of a sudden. My house is so deep underwater, if I want to open a window, I got to wait for low tide. Hey, listen, you guys, you've been a fantastic audience. I'm Joe Romby Jr.
Here you go, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Joe.
How you doing?
Hello, Bob. Talking to your head.
Yeah.
I know, don't worry. I'm getting there myself.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm keeping this, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Just,
It works for you. It works.
yeah, something works.
It's like the Cyclone. It's like the Cyclone.
So I got to ask you, first of all, before I even ask you anything, I want to thank you for setting me straight. Because, look, we've done this privately, and now I'm going to do it publicly. To all the potheads that are watching us right now. But the fact of the matter is, you seriously set me straight. I was always unprepared, and to everybody in the control room that calls me a hard ass, and a jackass, and mean, and you know who I'm talking to right now, this is the gentleman you guys can thank for it. Because he set me straight. And I think, no, seriously, Joe, thank you, man.
Well, I learned something from that night, too. Here's the story. We were doing a bar show at a place called American Trash. We did one the week before,
Yeah.
and it was fine. It was okay. This time we went, and the bartender didn't really want to cooperate with us doing a show again. So she kept saying, I'm going to go down to the basement and get the sound equipment. And she just kept not going. Then when she did go down there, she went down there with a guy, and she didn't come back up. So I was trying to teach Cyclone that you can't depend on the bar to bring the sound equipment. I mean, they should supply it, but they don't always, and you gotta make sure you can't have 5 comics show up for a show and then tell them we can't because they could have had other bookings, and that was all it was about. But I was a little too strict with him, and it was all on text. It was all, we weren't arguing. It was all text. I was on the
About
ferry
8
texting him.
You know, the only other one who texted me that much was my ex. Of course, she was texting me as she was banging other guys, but
Hey, who's to say I wasn't doing the same thing? You know, I had a hand free.
but seriously though, you set me straight. And
Well,
as a man,
And I
love
learned
him.
to be a little less of a
I
little
became
less
I
strict
became more of
myself.
a hard ass, and you became a little
I
bit
did.
less.
I do. I always felt really bad about that. But I didn't want to see you get caught like that again.
So, I'm just curious. How hard is it to book as many shows as you book?
Well, I only really do 2 a month, but that's a lot. I mean, and then
is.
trying to get myself booked, which is also really hard. It's a lot easier to get booked when you book. You know, because it's currency. Stage time is a currency at this stage of the game. And, you know, I don't care what it is. If it's a paying gig or an open mic, I want to get up every day. And that's all, really I want to do. I just want to get up. Sure, of course I want to be on the Johnny Carson show, but I don't think that's going to happen, But
Well-
this doesn't mean I can't be on the Cyclone show.
That's right. And you know what? I want to say, everyone, God bless America. Thank you. I know that doesn't mean still third base. Oh, my goodness. See, I see now. I'm a little slow. We got a couple more minutes. See, it's because last month I went too long. Now I'm going too short. Sort of like why my ex became my ex, kind of too short. But now, yes. So now I will say thank you very much for coming. And really fast, it's Twitter.
Well, I'm on Twitter, but I never look at it. It's too confusing to me. I like Facebook. It's Joe Romby Jr. at Facebook. If you want to get in touch with me, that's like my email. That's what I use. Thank you very much.
Once again, for the third time, I'm Cyclone. Until next month. Bye-bye. God bless America. Hope you liked it.